In this segment, we're going to use the TruPulse to capture a missing line routine. Missing line routine is useful if you're in a situation where you cannot see from pole to pole due to obstructions, buildings, trees, and sometimes we will need to use this function. In order to use this function in the TruPulse, we're going to go into the HDML routine in the TruPulse. Prior to doing this, you need to do a couple of things. First, you need to make sure that you have calibrated your TruPulse for both inclination and horizontal angle. The second thing to be aware of is to try to keep your TruPulse or your location, your work setup, away from cars, fences, anything that can cause magnetic problems with the TruPulse, because the TruPulse internally calculates, due to compass azimuth, will internally calculate the span length and the actual azimuth of that span and give you those readings. Therefore, having magnetic problems around it will cause problems in the reading. In order to get the best accuracy we can out of the tool, it's important to level it as much as we possibly can. Your TruPulse L bracket comes with a level, bubble level on it. Our suggestion is that you take a couple of seconds extra when you set up your tripod to level your device. Make sure that it's set up and ready to shoot in a level position. So what we'll do is we'll start off, I have two subject poles, and for demonstration purposes, we're going to assume that you can't see from pole to pole. So we're going to use these two poles as subject poles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start my TruPulse up. I'm going to scroll down using the arrow and get into the HDML routine. Now the TruPulse is going to ask me for shot 1. I'm going to use the tag on the pole. I'm going to shoot my shot 1. It gives me a footage to that, and then it blinks to shot number 2. For shot number 2, I'm going to swing over to my next target pole, and I'm going to find a reflective point on that. I do try to make sure and keep my crosshair centered on what would be the face of the pole or the center of the face of the pole to try to get as accurate as possible for my footage. It's asking me for shot 2. I take my second shot, and the TruPulse gives me a span of 231 feet on this instance. And if I go ahead and scroll up through the menu to the azimuth function, it also gives me the resultant azimuth of those two shots. So from one location, I'm able to establish a span length and the compass azimuth for this particular span. A quick check that you can perform with your TruPulse to ensure that your compass is working correctly on the missing line function is, once you've established your first shot, which I'm going to do again, we'll shoot our first span, rotate, shoot our second pole, and then when I scroll up to my azimuth, I show that I have a 350-degree azimuth. So to check my compass, what I will do is I'll reverse those shots. So I'm going to shoot from this pole first, and then I'm going to shoot back to my original pole. I make sure that I'm shooting exactly the same spot on the pole that I did before. And then when I scan up through to my azimuth, I show that I have 170 degrees. That is exactly 180 degrees from my original shot. That indicates to me that the compass is working correctly, and therefore should be able to trust the measurements given to us from the TruPulse.